meetings. CONA has people's ears. And that's how individual neighborhoods get to have a voice in the political wheels turning. And that is huge. That's so important, because it's not possible for our individual HOAs and COAs to move the needle the way an organized association, such as CONA, is able to do. And like I said, even without being political per se, just the fact that it exists and developers know there's going to be some pushback is helpful. So,
thank you very much. And we also will feature developers that do things well for the neighborhoods. We've had programs where we've taken 2 neighborhoods that had a very contentious 15-year battle over what would happen on a large parcel of land, and CONA was with them every step of the way throughout the battles. Finally, a developer came in and did the development after really thoroughly consulting with the neighborhoods and altering their plans. Back and forth they went with the neighborhoods in order to make sure that they could still make their profit and the neighborhood could still live with what was going on. So it isn't just that we work against developers, we try to work with them. And I think that that's important. And I think that we have gained the respect of many of them rather than disdain. I think that that's a very significant thing. Now, I'd like to just assert again that the reason why we're having this meeting today is to make you understand that if you band together and form a council in your region or your county or whatever area you define, it will always be to your advantage to get a good core organization like a council of neighborhoods together and get it running so that you can assemble the information and the institutional knowledge that every year gets larger and is more effective. Now I'd like to see if you have questions. And I'm going to have to ask you if you'll use the microphone.
I can speak really loudly.
Well, we're videotaping, so your question, if we'll pass the microphone around. And make sure you keep the microphone close to your mouth, please.
Is this close enough? Yes. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm with St. Pete. You mentioned insurance for directors for CONA. Do you recommend it for a neighborhood association?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
We had it for our association.
CONA wasn't sued. I was representing the Siesta Key Association at the time, and we were the one that was sued. And as I mentioned, he lost. He didn't make it because we were within our rights. But we had $13,000 worth of legal fees, and so that's covered by insurance. So neighborhood associations should get directors and officers insurance.
Yes.
These lawsuits are called SLAP suits. Right. And they are a means to intimidate people from participating as they have a perfect right to do.
That's what SLAP stands for, Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participations, which is illegal in Florida.
If you could come up for the mic when you have a question.
I'm Xavier with Manatee County. What my question is how are you guys combating the downturn in participations in neighborhoods? Because you said that normally you guys came to the table when there was an issue, but a lot of these associations are having membership problems where they're having low participation. How are you guys combating that?
This is a cyclical thing, and as activity diminishes and the power of developers increases with political changes and things, you wind up with less participation. But eventually, enough pain is caused in an area that people get their ire up. They begin to look for solutions to issues that they find insurmountable or intolerable, and they come back looking. Now, the changes in neighborhood associations does create sometimes a lag in their understanding of what the role of CONA is and their experience with it. But eventually, through word of mouth or through this relationship with the media that I discuss, where we get visibility and where the media knows what we are and very often will come to us for an opinion or come to our meetings and give us a certain amount of visibility. Our website is a hub for information for people, and it has links where the people can get in touch with us. If they don't know us personally, they can write a question, they can contact us. So this tends to be something that eventually catches up, is what I've found.
If I could just also add, constant communication, and I don't mean overdo the communication. Do not send out newsletters every week. But there are going to be times where there's quiet times. Now this year, it was switched a little bit from land use to political, the referendums, for example. Oh, by the way, vote no on Amendment 1. Had to sneak that in. Now, so you talk about political things, but you know, when after the election, and let's say it's quiet time, you don't not communicate. Because if you have 3 months, you're not communicating, whether it's a newsletter or having a quick meeting, even if it's something that talks about historic preservation or something fun, just make sure you're communicating on a regular basis so they don't forget you. And then you'll get people to continue. They may not be active, but at least they'll come on board as soon as you need them.
Okay, we've got another question down here.
I really have a loud voice.
Well, we're videotaping.
My name is Rick Ortega. I'm a member of the Clearwater Neighborhoods Coalition, and I'd like to ask a question which piggybacks on the question just asked, and also a conversation that Melanie Goddard and I were having earlier. And that is, I'd like to know what your group does as far as doing positive things, or what kind of things do you do, because like was just mentioned, people come when there's a problem, and you have people coming in and out of the group. Groups change sizes, so
Okay.
I'd like to hear some of the...
Let me answer that one before your next question. We hold monthly meetings, and I videotape all of them, so that if the meeting's on historic preservation, I take that videotape and I post it to our website. Our website is multifaceted. It not only announces the meeting of the next month, but it develops resources on a resource page. And we hold educational seminars on topics and invite anyone in the public to come to our meetings. You don't have to be a member to avail yourself of the resources that we offer. Our members support us and keep us going financially, but we run pretty lean, and we're all volunteers, so there's no issue other than that. And your next question is?
That's really it. I mean, we do some of that, but again, just some of the stuff that you feel that you do that brings people to the table, that's not fighting something, or not tackling a negative problem, but rather, you know, just
We did an entire program on a project recently in this last year of this program that I talked about, the Tahiti Park development. That was monumental as far as the amount of time that had been taken in our community, haggling, going before the council, dealing with developers who would try to manipulate the situation, influence neighbors. This has been a significant positive thing. Now, Lourdes, do you have another one?
Yeah, I wanted to add the educational component. You know, we've had what we call little expos. So we went with Sarasota County, and we rented a place similar to this up in Bee Ridge. And we had mosquito control come in, and neighborhood grants come in. And we also did seminars on Robert's Rules of Order. So anyone, because you're getting new board members all the time. So you can do these educational, fun kind of things as well with your neighborhoods, which is a lot more positive, working with the government, and bringing in information for the, and the associations like it because these little groups will bring in little gifts, and they kind of enjoyed that as well. So people walked out with little goodie bags. Emergency management is huge, you know, right before hurricane season, to come out and talk about preparing your neighborhood, code red. So those are other things you can do in the lulls, and also to bring the groups together. That's informative.
Annie?
Melody wanted to add to that, and then we'll come back to you, okay?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add to that is that because of the excellent relationship with the media, all of the programs, which obviously we've got some excellent programs going, not the least of which have been the forums with the local candidates, questions pertinent to what's the impact if you elect this person in, to what's the impact to your neighborhood. So it's a little bit of different way of of helping your community understand what the impact is when you vote for somebody. But most importantly, for me as a new member, was how regularly information appears in the press and the public is welcome. So there's some very interesting programs that you may just grab people by happenstance that they're very interested in figuring out how to, set up a bike rodeo or how to, whatever the thing might be. The fact that it's well advertised has been a big help.
A footnote on that first before we go to you. Regarding that, we can ask prickly, pointed questions at our forums because we're not a neighborhood association, we're not an individual group that would suffer if they were perceived to be a troublemaker, per se, in the community. There's no political backlash to CONA. We're not dealing with issues of our own. Now yours.
Annie Nelson from Palm Beach County. I don't know if we have a CONA there, but my question is, do you maintain an archive for research on issues that you may have already tackled, that someone may be facing something similar or the same issue?
Yes.
That you might be able to
On our
research
website.
on.
On our website, we've got two different kinds of resource pages. One, government issues, and the other, programs that we've held. And those videos will always be there for you to be able to do it. And you can always contact us, no matter where you are. We'll try and get you in touch with somebody that's an expert in your area. Another question right back here.
Hi, I'm with the City of Tampa, and we have an umbrella group called FAN, the Tampa Homeowners Association of Neighborhoods. It's been around almost 30 years. The membership is not based on a neighborhood association president. It could just be a FAN rep, as they'll call it, from the association, and it's citywide with all of our neighborhood associations. The three major challenges that we have is one, the group has almost become elitist in the fact that they feel like they control everything and want to run all the neighborhood associations because they've been members forever. We've had a person that's the mayor now who used to be part of city council and the assistants of the mayor several years ago, and the same people are still on this group, and they kind of just feel like they run everything. They are also not diverse. They only have a certain number of neighborhood persons that represent, so there's not a lot of diversity. It's kind of like one section of town that's represented instead of the entire city, which causes a lot of friction. They don't reach out to the membership as we have new members. I and myself, Murray, manage the neighborhoods office, so we're constantly telling them, hey, there's this many new neighborhood associations and presidents who want to get involved, but they don't reach out to them. And then there's not a lot of young people that are interested. Tampa, like many cities, have a lot of people in and out all the time, and you should have your organization reflect that. So how do you face, if you have any of those challenges, to make sure that that doesn't happen with your group?
I think that what you need to do is to encourage those individual neighborhoods to join that group and to begin to actively participate in it and begin to have their influence.
They get run off from
Yeah.
Term limits. You have to put that in the bylaws.
Well, they're not part of us, so we don't run them. So there's
They
no
don't
term
have,
limits on
is it
there.
a formal group that has bylaws?
They do. They have bylaws and everything, but they.
I think term limits is a double-edged sword. Term limits can do that turning over, but it also can cut you off from the institutional knowledge. Sometimes you get leadership that really is effective and very good, and at that time you really want to keep them. I think getting involved in the organization itself and trying to make the change internally from it only comes about by more people joining it and participating.
You get these dictatorships.
That's it.
Yeah.
We-
You get these
Wait a minute, Mary.
I
Take the
can't say
microphone.
we've had that here in Sarasota. I mean, being part of CONA, because we're part of associations, we have enough on our plate, and we don't want we don't want to handle anybody else's association. Our goal is to say, we'll help you, but you got to take charge. I've had groups come up to me as president of CONA and say, can you handle this project? And I'm like, no, you handle the project. We will help you. We will support you. We will handle projects that's county-wide. So if there is a major county-wide issue, like comprehensive plan change that affects a bunch of neighborhoods, we'll take lead. But we do not want to do the work for a neighborhood. We want to support a neighborhood, and we've always done that. That's the rule, because we don't want to take over.
I think we're really lucky because of our history. We've been in existence since 1961, and I think we learned really early on this type of an issue where one person could really sour the perception of the organization. Two people would make it even worse. We have become so very careful about who we invite to participate on our board of directors. So it's up to the organization to be its own watchdog and understand the philosophical bent of the people they invite on. And if you get somebody that tends to work counter to your philosophy, then you have to influence that person to stop participating. And you can do it one way or another. That's, to me, the only way to do it. If you're going to continue to have it be a volunteer nonprofit organization that's independent. Any other opinions here?
So maybe the alternative is organizing the neighborhoods who are not part of the group and make the current organization become obsolete over time by nurturing the folks who are currently not, getting them up and running, having them solicit people from the neighborhoods in the existing group, and ultimately replace, let them become, a dinosaur and die off and start something fresh.
Well, thank you. Thank you. This is our website here, www.conasarasota.org. If you'll contact us if you have further questions or want some information, we're available to you. Thank you.